Good morning, Princey. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning, Dr. Jayasudha. How are you?
Yeah, fine, doing good. So, on behalf of Alumni Association, we cordially invite you for the guest lecture, Student to Novice Nurse, Tips and Tricks for a Smooth Transition. So, we have an eminent speaker with us today, Miss Princey Francis, lecturer, Department of MCH in College of Nursing, Sultan Qaboos University, Muscat. Miss Prince's passion is to teach nursing students the art of maternity nursing. I'm so happy because we both sail in
Belong
the
to the
same.
same specialty.
Yeah, and shaping them into empathetic nurses because way more than that way we bring up the world, the child to the world. So where we need to be more empathetic to the mother when she delivers it, especially during the delivery. So that's what apt one which you have taken it up. And following this passion which she had, she has fulfilled her career as a nurse who specialized in OBG nursing from PSG College of Nursing, Tamil Nadu in the year 2012. Actually, Mrs. Prince's passion is to teach, and not only that, where she has done her Bachelor of Nursing from BLD Association Sri B.M. Patil Institute of Nursing, Rajiv Gandhi University in 2008. And now she's been employed as a lecturer in MCH department at College of Nursing in Sultan Qaboos University. Her achievements to the credit are numerous, where she has received Dr. Ambato Venusi Founder Award in 2014, a Best Research in Breast Cancer in the Urema Third International Congress. And she also got an Young Scientist Award in 2016 for the research and scholarly activities awarded by the Center for Advanced Research Design by Venus International Foundation. And Sultan Qaboos University has awarded honorary award for research and scholarly activities in 2016 and 17 on 2nd May 2017 on the day of University Day. And she has also received Anthony Batalgia Packet Nurse Scholarship Award to attend the Nursing Simulation Conference sponsored by INASIL at Washington. She's had a Best Oral Presenter Award at the 6th Annual Worldwide Nursing Congress in Singapore and Best Scientific Poster Award in 2019 in the 3rd International Conference on Advances in OBG in Muscat. And she is member of many professional organizations and she's serving as a reviewer in index journals. And we are really very happy to invite you and to be with us today. I'm sure our students will be eagerly waiting to listen to you. And have a great day. Thank you so much, Princey, for accepting our invitation and to be part of our PSG. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, so much for just briefing about me. You introduced myself, and when you read these laurels here, I really need to get back to say you would have seen that my achievements were in the field of research, and I began my research career in PSG. So I owe it to all of them who shaped us. Research was not easy. My batchmates would agree. All of us remember Dr. Subhadra, who used to be behind us. So I would like to remember them and all our teachers who were present at every moment to help us. So I'm just doing my little bit what we came through for the institution, and more than an invite, it's a sheer happiness to be back and to be talking to children who are following our same path in the same building where we all studied and reached now to this position. Thank you so much, Dr. Jayasudha. It's a nice meeting. Okay, so a warm good morning to all of them who are present here. I know my teachers are there in here. If I have to make a list, it's a big whole list, but I take all your grace before I start. And I give a warm welcome to all the students who are here, maybe by force or maybe by interest, because these days webinars, the big change that COVID brought was to have a lot of webinars. But if you look into the positive side of it, it comes to you on your table at your hand. You don't have to spend, you don't have to go anywhere hunting for it. It's so easily delivered. And what I see is how generous Indian nursing field is. They render it free. Whereas if you want to attend anything from any other countries, you have to pay. So make the best use of it. So I don't want to, I can promise you it's not a lecture session. So if you all have closed down your videos and just put your phones apart, take a few minutes. I'll just wind it up very soon. But then I feel these are valid points of nurses like me who travel through and want our little ones to know ahead so that you don't fall or feel troubled when you move into your new journey. So I'm going to share my screen just to start with. Just let me know if it's visible, because I'm talking to a mute audience. So if it's visible to you, if it's not visible, please let me know.
It's visible, Francie.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Okay, so if you look at this slide, this is a single slide of myself. It has everything, where I worked and what I do, what's my interest, what's my passion. And I recently started doing this because of my interest, or one good thing I learned from one of the seminars which was presented. So I thought it's one quick, easy way to introduce myself. So I like to introduce myself now as an alumni of PSG, College of Nursing. Okay. When you look at this slide, don't tell me, question. I just want to say every session at the end asks you some questions in between to make sure if you are attending. And then at the end, it's a question back to the speaker. Now, but I feel because of our topic, it is essential for me to ask you 3 big questions. So those who have access to the chat box, you can write your answers there. It's going to be very simple though. Something which you all would have come across, but at this moment may feel good to answer. So my first question is, who are you? Who are you? I think very rarely many of them ask you this question, you know. Most of them ask you, what's your name? From where are you? Who are you? Have you asked yourself any time? Now, if I answer myself, I always answer, okay, if somebody asks, who are you? I'm Francie Francis. That's my identity from the time my parents named me. So I think most of you would have chatted or written your name. Is there anybody who wrote, I'm a nursing student? If there's somebody who wrote, I'm a nursing student, I'm so happy, because you have already stuck to what you're doing, and you have already started creating your identity. You are wanting to say, and you feel happy in saying that you are a nursing student. That's the very first step, a positive step towards how you will be a very nice nurse in future. Next question. Do you love what you're doing? When people asked me when I was doing nursing, I was in a dilemma. It took me some time to figure out if I really love what I'm doing, because I dropped something and then I picked up nursing. So most of us may be in a dilemma. If I love what I'm doing right now, or if you instantly answered, yes, I love what I'm doing, then you are in the right track. But if you are still figuring out, and you have still time to realize and understand, and you can sometimes even love what you cannot love, because if you have sailed through almost 75% of your course, you are supposed to or expected to love it, but how you will love it is what we will start learning to make your life easier. And the next and the last question, reasons why you chose to do nursing. Innumerable list of reasons, right? Why you wanted to do nursing. Miss, I wanted to go to a foreign country. I wanted to do this. I want to serve patients. I want to love everybody. So many reasons you will have. You can make a big list of why you want to do nursing, but you should ask yourself why you chose to do nursing. Okay. Is it because of parental force? Is it because only of the salary packages? Or is it because everybody said that's the only job which has some scope? It's time to ask yourself and find out what is exactly that thing that you like about nursing and why you chose it. Okay. So these are my questions, and I believe these questions are something which you need to keep asking yourself and reflecting often, so that there are times when we deviate away from what we are doing and we find instances that we don't like, but this might help you to keep you back and bring you back, because you will have a purpose of going forward. So today I'm going to share some tips and tricks, and believe me, these are not from any literatures. I do not pick them from any studies or some lectures or anything. It's sheer personal opinion. So it's like a disclaimer. Whatever is conveyed here, whatever is shared with you is from a elderly or a sisterly aspect. Our group of friends from all of us, I just brainstormed in my WhatsApp group and asked each one of them, how did you feel when you want to transit to a nursing? What you felt you needed and what you now feel after becoming senior nurses. So some points clubbed together. So we will go one by one, and you will be able to relate to what I am saying. Some of them, you just keep them with you. You know when it will come to use. Okay. I still keep asking myself, is nursing my cup of tea? Do you all love tea? Some of you might say, no, miss, I like only coffee. Okay. Do you all love coffee? No, miss, I don't drink both. I like milk. Okay, fine. Do you like milk? So why I am asking this question is, for most of us, we cannot start our day without a cup of tea. A hot tea makes the whole day. At the same time, in the evening, if you don't get your cup of tea, you end up getting a headache. There will be many of us like this. Okay. Now imagine it's raining. A hot cup of tea without a bhaji bonda vada does not finish our day. Why I associated this is, you do this or you drink a cup of tea every day, in the morning, in the evening, and when you get a chance. But have you got bored of doing it? Each day with new refreshed feeling, or we go for it. That becomes our favorite beverage. So nursing is like this. It's going to be your life. It's going to be that's going to give you life, and you're going to give life to somebody else. So you should really ask this question: if this is my cup of tea, and am I doing justice to what I've chosen to do? Now, if any of you answered it's no, it's not my cup of tea, think at what spot you are. If you are just joined first year, still I would not advise you to go back and quit it, because you will miss all those treasures which is there in the coming years before you attain to be a nurse. So just shift your focus. That is my first trick. Shift your focus. When I mean to say shift your focus, I don't say shift your profession. I mean to say shift the focus from that one instance or that one incident which made you feel that nursing is not my passion. Because you won't believe if I share my own story. I never wanted to be a nurse. I never wanted to be a nurse. I always wanted to be somebody in journalism. I wanted to be a TV journalist. This is how I was telling myself about. But then you have, at one point when it comes to decide, you will have a lot of advices coming in. Sometimes you succumb to become somebody, and you want to obey to your parents, and then you go with it. And that's how I chose nursing. So my first entry was actually not with all the love and light for it, but I survived, and this is my survival story. So just turn away from that one instance or that one incident which is pinching you to make you feel that this is not my passion. Keep asking yourself, what is the good in taking up this? Why did I take this up? What is the good thing in taking up this? So you have areas to figure out what makes you feel to stick on to this profession. Okay. Then explore the areas. There are lots of areas. Actually, by the time you finish your fourth year, you will agree with me. We have learned all the subjects which is under the health sciences category, I think, in a short version form. Because all the others, you take those courses separately and specialize for 3 years. But we nurses have learned a bit of everything. Okay. So you have wide variety of areas to choose and understand if this is my area. So you will have to wait patiently and keep asking you again the same thing. This is my interest? Am I in the right direction? because a dislike is just a momentary resistance, which is just making you feel that I should not take this, or I'm not fit for this, I don't do good. It's just momentary, and like everything else, this too shall pass away. It's just the mindset. If we can just mold our mind a little bit, if we can just control our thoughts a little bit on what we want to do towards our profession and our liking, I think it is possible. It is possible. Okay. Now, while studying in nursing college, what is your true feeling? You may chat in the chat box. I will later read all those comments. Don't worry, your teachers are seeing those comments, but it's okay. You can tell what do you feel. Now I'm going to tell what I was feeling. Maybe all of you are giggling. I'm not able to see it. If people asked me while studying in nursing college what was my true feeling, I will show you the next picture and then let you know. This is what a student nurse reality is. Okay. So I don't know who drew this picture, but this picture just stuck in my brain. And I was thinking how well he has portrayed. This is how it is. And see the first day, see the midterm, she's crying that there's no sleep. And in the finals, she's just telling, kill me someone. So in a nursing student's life, this cycle, I think happens minimum 4 times, all the 4 years. But it's only in the 4th year that you feel a little relieved. Okay. So this is a student nurse realities. And if I now say this is not true, then I will be lying, because this is the truth. And I'm sure all your teachers will agree with this. But when we become teachers, we hold on to certain things, like we keep some truths really concealed, because after all this, it's like you are going into a definitely good future. Okay. So when somebody asked me in my nursing school, how do you feel, or what's your true feeling when you were in a nursing school? My answer was, somehow I just want to graduate. Somehow I just want to graduate. And I answered this 2 times. I answered once in undergraduation, and I think I did the same when I was in post-graduation. If I tell in the regional language Tamil, which I always love, "Yappa Sami, எப்படியோ முடிச்சிட்டு விட்டுட்டே போயிட்டே இருக்கலாம் போல இருக்கு." That's the feeling most of you have. Probably not the first years, but the second years, third years, and then as you come to 4th year, you only look for the day of finishing your final exam. So my next tip or suggestion is, please replace this somehow with how best I want to graduate. How best I want to graduate. It looks nice. Oh, miss, did you do this? Yeah, maybe at times, somehow we tried to do it at our best. Probably that's why we got pushed well, and we were able to go through the right track, and we were able to find out our own positions and places. So it should be possible. It's not that it cannot be done. So always try to replace that somehow with how best. The best you do is also enough for taking you in the right path. Okay. Now, my third tip is, who is your role model? Is there anybody chatting wanting to know who is your role model? You want to write? Please write. I will read them later. Instantly we have role models. We have some might say my father is a role model, my mother is a role model. Now because we are talking about nursing, some of you might have written Nightingale is my role model, and maybe Mother Teresa is my role model. These are general identification of personalities we do. How many of you have mentioned in your chat boxes that one of my teachers is a role model? One of my teachers from nursing is a role model. Or you would have you have multiple choices. We can have more than one role models, but then we will definitely sync with one whom you like so much. So it is essential to have a role model, so that you know that when you look at that person, you feel that, okay, she has gone to that level in the same path. I may also be able to go to that position. Okay. Now, role models can be have 2 types of influence on you. One, direct influence, just like all our teachers there, who's with us, who's behind us, helping us. They may have a direct influence, and sometimes they have indirect influences. So in the category of direct influence, I have all my teachers there. In the indirect influence, I have somebody too. Maybe when I share this story, for that particular person, she might even wonder, have I? Okay. So the first time when I finished my post-graduation, we got a chance to present our thesis. You know, once we do our research studies, we have to find a platform to present it. So it was a college, Gokulam College in Salem. I think in 2012 they organized a conference. So we all packed up our bags. First of all, excited with group. We all are going together to present. And then the first time you go to present something, you have this dilemma and the fear. And so we packed our bags and all those things, and we went there. And at that moment, Dr. Jayasudha was the principal of Gokulam College of Nursing. So why I mean to say an indirect influence is, you know, all of you might agree with me. The very first look, you know, you definitely admire her. I did note one thing. She is very, very good in dressing, which is very, very essential. It's said that you have to eat to please yourself, but dress to please others. So you observe for one trait which you look at it. And then she was the principal there, and the position she was holding, and then the way she was delivering on the stage. There are many things which we looked upon, but that's the only instant I met her and I saw her, and I haven't had any direct contact. So there is many like this. You can have a direct influence or indirect influence, and you may have many people, but this is just one example and a live example which I wanted to share with you. Next tip: learn one good quality from every teacher you meet. Why I emphasize on teacher now is because as students, whom you get to see often are your teachers, and whom you get to be in long time contact are your teachers. You might even like some nurse on the floor when you went for your clinical postings. Anybody, be it anybody. We human beings are of variety characteristics. You know, each of us have variety characteristics. That's why we say variety is spice of life. So each of us definitely may have one good quality to learn from. So look forward to all those teachers who come to teach you. Pick up one good quality of theirs and then put them into a jar like this. What I say put them is later you need to revise, because as life moves on, new things happen, and there are some things which go back to our remote. But these collectibles of characteristics you may find as very nice, and later you may want to implement at some point of your life. So learn one good quality from every teacher whom you meet while you study. Fifth tip is fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. So when I mean fit in, what I mean to say here is, this is the time you have to start identifying which is your area of passion within nursing, because that path will allow you to fit in right when you start working. For example, when you are serving people in the ICU, you may feel, okay, I can handle this. This is my area of passion. But then you switch to maternity, and then you feel that, oh, delivering, oh, this is marvelous. So I think I can do this. And then you like small children, you like small kids, you like the way they talk, you like to take a selfie with them, they look very cute. So you feel that, no, I can deal well in pediatrics. But try to understand your reality. When you go to a pediatric unit, and when the child is sick and stressed and frustrated, how well are you able to manage that? Do you sing along with them? Do you sympathize and you're not able to take care? You just feel like crying? Maybe at that point you have to think if you can really handle children under a hospitalized condition. So I mean to say, every year the curriculum is so well planned so that you have your courses in such a way you have ample time to flow through it and to realize if this is where you will be doing well. So when you identify that area, then your focus while going to work, you may make your choices accordingly. If you like pediatrics, you may want to work in Masonic in Coimbatore, or you may choose for some pediatric specialty areas and try to somehow get in there because you know you will do well. So fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. Next thing, this is very, 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 very essential. Take a break. I say take a big break. This is another experience from myself. When I finished my bachelor's program, you know, at the moment when you finish your 4th year, you just feel like immediately after this, you just want to go to some job and take up the job and start earning. The excitement of finding your first job, and then the excitement of making your first salary. It's very exciting actually. So for that, what we do is we don't even give the gap of the results to come. Most of us, at least, would do this. I did this. I purged myself from the place I studied back to Coimbatore because I reside in Coimbatore. I'm a Coimbatorian. I'm a proud Coimbatorian, and my parents are still there. And I purged back to Coimbatore, and within a week, because it's like a, you feel that it's like a competition, a rush. Your friends, everybody move to their places, and then they say, I applied in Delhi, I'm going there, I'm going here. So I just purged myself and I went and put myself in one of the best super specialty hospitals in Coimbatore. I think hardly a week after I came back from my finishing my exams, hardly 1 or 2 weeks maybe, and then I came back. But then I went back, and the area I chose to work was CTU, the cardiothoracic unit. So there is actually a big cultural and a geographical shock moving from one setting of the hospital where I learned to a new setting, and then the stress inside the unit and all these things without taking a break for me every day was moving very difficult. And I was just thinking I had to go back and run because I was working in CTU. I know things, but somehow this pulled me down. I was every day in the evening in the library trying to read the chambers of the heart and the structure of the heart, and I don't know what I was doing to myself. So I was just going on, and there it was like a 12-hour shift. And from morning you start doing until you wait for your senior nurse. They tell you, okay, now you finished your shift, you go, you keep quiet and you keep doing. I did this for almost 3 months, and there was at one point which I literally broke down. At one point, my mommy is a nurse, so she just said, Prinsu, this is how it's going to be. You need to adjust. This is how we all did. At that point, I couldn't take this up. And what I did was I just stopped going home, Coimbatore, and I stay here in Coimbatore. I stayed in a working women's hostel and I stopped going home. So there was a point when I couldn't take up. Then I realized probably I was not doing it right. And I just waited for one word back home with my this behavior. They started saying, okay, fine, if you don't want it now, just quit and we will see for something else. It was just that one word I wanted to hear. And I went running away from that place. I don't say it very happily though, because it's not something that should have happened. But then later I realized it happened for good. I went away even without taking my salary. So it pushed me to that level. So it's essential to cut off and take a break. You finished your graduation. You have so many things pending because when you are studying, you have limited holidays. You might not have enjoyed many family functions. You might not have met your family, or you might not have been to your grandparents' place. There's a lot of things which will be on your bucket list. Some things which you really want to do. I want to do this. I want to something away from this. Take that big break from the day you finish your last exam till the day you get your official registration in the DNA. Suppose you have a big gap there. Do whatever is fulfilling to your mind. This is essential, and it's a very, very good kickstart for continuing the rest of your professional journey. Choose your direction. Now you finished your break. During your break time, okay, you are completely cut off. But during that time, you will also be thinking what you want to do. Now, where you want to work, which place. So you need to do some Googling. You need to identify, you would need to look out what is available. Where is it available? Where do I fit in? And then you ask yourself, what is my path now? Do I want to go and do a post-graduation? Or do I want to somehow tap a government job within India? Or do I want to go abroad? If it's abroad, there is varied options. You have Gulf, you have Western countries, and each place has different preparatory process and different types of exams. So you need to at least draw your basic abstract planning of where you really want to go and in which direction you want to go, because that will pave the way. Otherwise, after 2 years of working, you realize, no, this is not what I want. This I could have done this. Oh my, this chance is gone back. So just draw your line, whether you want to study, whether you want to do some specialization course in certain areas only, not going for masters, but then government exams. What kind of government? Is it railways? Is it CRPF? Whatever. So identify all possible solutions and keep so that you know in which way you want to go. Now, for those who cannot figure out what is your destination, this is a biblical story though. Now I can even tell it as an historical story. You might have heard of this, Jonah and the big fish. Here, I always look at the story and I think it's me, because my interest began as a medical surgical nurse. I wanted to be a medical surgical nurse because I thought, oh, this has lots of systems. When I learn all these things, so many things about medical surgical nursing. So with that intention, I went to CTU, but I came running out of that place. And finally, I didn't know where I want to place myself. But then I found myself going back to my old college. And that's when the teacher who was teaching obstetrics and gynecology was leaving that place. So because of that, I was asked to stay back. My principal sir then, he asked me, please stay back, Princy, just to help in taking some sessions until we find a master's faculty who will come to take this place. So at that moment, I was clueless and I just thought, okay, this is my known place and let me start just do a little bit for the request that's being made. So if you if you can't figure out your destination, God knows where to throw you. Because here in this story, it's like this. God assigns Jonah to do some responsibility, but Jonah did not want to do it. So he was trying to run away from God. So he took a ship and he went away. He did not go to the place where God wanted him to go. So when he was going, there was a storm. He fell off the ship right into the mouth of a whale. And all that he could see was he was thrown out on a beach side, which was in the place destined by God to go and do. So if you don't have a name, God knows where to place you, but just realize that's where you have to be. So these are some tips. All these things what I shared so far were tips that you have to start preparing from your graduate nursing. When you are a nursing student, some things when you are towards yet to graduate, you can still do and figure out and get yourself in some shape. Now I'll tell you what happens once you join. Okay. Now there is 3 phases of transition. Imagine you got your dream job in nursing, the place where you wanted to be, and okay, this is the place, your friends are coming with you, you feel the environment is fine, all of you are going to maybe let's say Delhi. I see most of them running to Delhi, so I like Delhi, so many things come to your mind. But there is 3 phases of transition. Okay, the first phase is the romantic phase, or the phase of liking. This is what I said, you love nursing. When that time of farewell and the time of graduation is happening, like especially in PSG, it's like a big celebration. You have those usherers around you, your teachers all dressed up and decked up, you decked up, and when you receive that moment, takes you to such a hype and you feel, oh, I have accomplished something so great. So you still remain in that phase, which I call is the romantic, or the phase of liking, where you really love to do and you're full of energy to do certain things. That's your first phase. It's in this phase that you get your job and you start looking forward for more beautiful things to happen. The second phase is like this. When you have already finished your first phase, which is that phase of liking, then you have a kind of disillusionment and a distraction. It means you are now, so far as students, you were loaded one case and then your teacher is there right behind you. You took one procedure, you did one, and you were having only a partial responsibility. But once you enter to be a novice nurse, your period of learning is over. Okay, now everybody started seeing you as a big person, a big girl, or a big male nurse, or a big female nurse, whoever. And then you start getting into the reality. You've been assigned multiple patients. Okay, unless it's in the ICU, I don't think the other wards have all 5 to 6 patients. That's what I get to know, unless it's different. So you have multiple patients, multiple conditions, multiple responsibilities. To top it all, we have a lot of writing to do as nurses. So you will reach this phase of delusionment and distractions where you want to do that, you want to do this, you have to be right, you have to take care of all these things. This will be your second phase. But again, this is also temporary. Means until you get set in the unit, until you start learning everything, and when you start practicing everything, you will slowly start getting, what to say, you will slowly start understanding everything. It's only till then. Okay. See, look at this messy nurse, the poor nurse. But this should not be the picture in your mind. But if I say you will not pass through this, that also is not right. The third phase. This is the final phase. It's a dissolution phase. Dissolution of your disillusion and distraction phase. Okay. At this point, it is two things that will happen. Either you will adjust with resentment, okay? Otherwise, you will adjust with contentment. You're happy, okay? You have crossed all those things. Now you are confident. You know everything about the unit, what kind of patients come there, what are the drugs given. There's some things which have just made you feel that, okay, I can manage and I can survive in this area. Then it's adjustment with contentment. Adjustment with resentment is not advisable, because you will still have some kind of frustration there, and you will always be worried for being in that area, and you will not enjoy that professional journey of yours. So to persist in that for too long is not good. Okay, so the third phase makes it come. Now these three phases, from where did I derive? I derived it from an article which says 3 phases of marriage. And along with your professional tip, this is a personal tip. But yes, you will go through this well, and you will settle well if you take it in the right way. So these are the 3 phases, and you will, this too shall pass away when you start working. Next step is facilitate a good rapport with your team. When I mean to say a good rapport, now there's a lot of things hidden behind this word. I have clearly mentioned some things, and these things came in our group chats and talks with friends. We should have respect for the healthcare team, but not fear. So when I say fear, it's like, you know, sometimes it's obvious. We do sometimes, you know, when a doctor who might even be an internee of your same level comes and suggests or does something, we nurses sometimes very blindly close our eyes and agree to do that. We forget that we've been trained 4 years, 4 whole years, to bring out the knowledge we have. If he says something wrong, you might even just go to your colleague and see, he said this, and both of you might sometimes just agree to do what is said. But that's the biggest thing. It's not the fear that you should develop, but it's the respect. It's not only with the health team member like a doctor or a physiotherapist or whoever is working with you, it's with your own nurse colleagues too. We do have respect. We do have the we can voice our views too in a very polite and gentle manner, depending upon the person who is, and the person, it depends on the person how they take it, because personality varies. But remember, always have respect but not fear, because fear makes you submissive, makes you stoop down, sometimes makes you go to the level that you start doing things which are not your expected roles, and which just is like serving the others, which is not the ideal image. And somehow that societal image of nurses, we the nurses are still struggling to tear down and to really show who we are, because even our media, even the general public believe all that we do is to serve. But this is what we are trying to cut off, and for that the coming up generation, that's you, the coming up generation, should be the ones who will make a big change. We are already the current generation, your teachers, ourselves, all of us are trying to put our bit, and you will put your bit too. Initially, when you are new, try to have a neutral relationship, because sometimes we meet people in the unit of working, just you, some of them you just say hi, some of them you get to work together, but you know, don't jump to conclusion. Do not say okay, that person, she looks hard, oh, I think she is very she may not be very friendly. Don't jump to conclusions. There is time to understand people. Just have neutral relationships with everybody until you understand each member of the team, each colleague of yours, so that this will make it much easier. So any instance from their side will not hurt you. So just be neutral initially, but slowly understand everybody so that you can work in that pace with them, because you will have shifts and you will have to work with different people. So you can work in that pace with them. This is what is we consider as having a very good rapport. Seek a mentor. Now, almost all hospitals do have this. When you go as a new nurse, they attach to you to an experienced nurse. Okay. So when they put you there and you are there with that nurse for maybe a month of 3, you will learn everything with her. You have your shifts flowing according to her shifts, and you try to learn maximum from her. But not all mentors are very good teachers, because they have their own load of patient assignment, their load of deadlines to finish the tasks. So sometimes they may not be very good in, always calling you, always involving you. So look at them and be ready. So they don't have to call, that she's preparing for something, jump in and say, sister, can I do this now? Can you see me doing this? Can I help you? She might even forget in her patient. So just try to find your ways to learn the maximum or tap the best from your mentor. Okay, unless and until the mentor is really not supportive, really not good, you will request for a change or seek another one. But most often they try to do their roles and help you, and you try to do your best to learn. So that's the 9th step. Be a lifelong learner. It's okay to say that you do not know something, because after 4 years graduation, after learning all these courses, I don't think it is essential that we will know everything. We tend to forget many things. We have been learning all these things theoretically. We did apply practically. But when we come to the ward, there is so many things that is different, that is new, that is getting updated, and that is changing. So you have to accept if you do not know, because if you say you know and then you try to do, you might make some mistakes which will lead you into stress. Okay, one example is, maybe you are a very good student in pharmacology. You scored 90 when you did your university exams, so you feel good that you know all these things. But it's not necessary that when you get to the unit you will know all the medications, that you will know all its side effects, or you even know what to be done as a nursing consideration. Okay, so this is what I mean to say. So whatever you have learned needs to be there, but you need to keep learning and keep knowing, so that you will be updated to give your best performance. Attend CNE. When I mean to say CNE is continuous nursing education. Why? This leads to professional growth and keeps you up to date. That doesn't mean that you need to keep attending it every other week or every other month. But when you have opportunities, nursing students, utilize them. Because when you start working, you'll have to find your own time to attend these things. But attend. This will make you or keep you par at the international standards. You will know every presenter will bring something new that is being happening globally, something which is related to your field. So you will get equipped with more knowledge. In a seminar, even in this seminar, maybe it's now another half an hour past, I don't believe you will keep all my words. You may not take all these tips, but there will be something or one point from here which might stick to you. So that's what we see while attending. There will be one take-home message or one particular aspect which you need to have for yourself in your field. Next is join professional organizations. It can be international organizations or national organizations, organizations related to your specialty or area of interest, because they keep updating. They provide CNEs, they give opportunities, and you can be active in it. This keeps you informed. This is the reason why we join professional organizations, and at times they come as a very supportive feature. So we have so many organizations in India. By the time you finish, by default, we become part of some organizations also. So just try to be part of some organizations, because later all these speak in your CVs. Next, bridge the doctor-nurse gap. I just gave a little bit during that time. Here, when I mean to say, it's the good communication skill. I want to know, as nursing students, how many of you volunteer to be on the grand rounds that's made by the consultants? How many of you go and stand with them, in par with them, listening to what they are telling? Because it's the progress of the patients they are talking. Sometimes I always see that the doctors will do their own rounds. Only the nurse who's in charge of the patient will be standing with them. All the others will be standing in the other, especially student nurses. If you want yourselves to be felt and heard, just join them. Say excuse and say, I want to be this, I want to know what's happening with this patient too, I'm learning. So just be there, a part of them, so that when you have some doubts, you can directly ask them. Okay, this is at this point of graduation, or as a nurse, a nursing student, you should start learning these communication skills. If we do it, then as you become a nurse, you will not step aside or step behind. I want all of you to remember there is no inferior or no superior attitude when you are coming to work in a healthcare team. All of us are pillars of care, especially nurses. We hold all these things together. If something goes wrong from our side, I think all those things will crumble down. That's what I always feel, because everybody just gives us their requirements and we try to put them well. So we need not feel about that, because we are equipped, we have knowledge. And for that, you need to demonstrate that you have this knowledge. Do your role perfectly well and be assertive to those roles that are not yours. Okay. Simple example. Maybe many of you would agree with me when I say this. When we were nursing students and we were posted in undergraduation in a pediatric unit, I was posted. So we were nursing students. And when we sat there, there were some doctors who came running in. They came and sat there. And then they said to one of the students, go and switch on the fan. And then they told another student, bring that doctor's order. And we, during student phase, we always have this kind of fear, and then we want to do this, that. We jumped out of our seats. I still remember that nurse who was in charge of that unit. The moment we jumped out to do this, she told, where are you going? What are you doing? You're reading? Just sit there. Doctor, it is your role to please do this. Take your paper. It's there on the rack and do. We don't mean to say that we need to order, but there was somebody at that moment to protect us, or she protected the dignity of our profession. So she is etched in my mind, because she had the power to say, or she thought it is not her job. So we have to do our role perfectly well, but those roles which are not ours, we don't have to do. Then you will land up doing everything in that small number of hours where you have to give patient care. You will land up doing everything. So just be assertive, so that you will develop a better communication. And as I told you before, we will develop that respect, which is very essential for transition, because sometimes most of the novice nurses, they quit because they feel they are not being recognized, they're not being valued, and they feel that they are just being used. And this is very common in our current generation, the millennial generation. You need recognition, you need respect, you are demanding all these things from us too. So go ahead and be assertive where it is needed. Patient safety, this is your ultimate. Okay, when you are assigned, everything about the patient, you are responsible. So you need to know everything that leads to patient safety in that unit. Their identification policies, they have a lot of policies. The hospital has a lot of policies, which during your period of mentoring, you would have almost covered. And at every instant, if you have a doubt, just cross-check, use a second nurse, use your senior nurse, confirm, reconfirm, and then do. But you will be able to ensure that your patient safety is achieved. Through the patient safety, your professional safety is achieved. Because if we do some mistake, we are liable to be sued if the patient decides to give a complaint on us. And at that moment, there may not be everybody around you supporting us. So this is very, very important, patient safety. Next is, do your assigned tasks mindfully. Now this word mindful has become a fashion, a trend. And I know why it is, because now even all of us are multitaskers, and the current generation, including me, our attention span on certain things is for very short time. Maybe I'll be just looking at a bit of news in the video, then I quickly jump to my Facebook and I start seeing status, then I see another friend's life, then I go like this, then I see somebody texting in WhatsApp, and then I go to respond to that, then I see my collections in Instagram. So I switch from, I don't know how fast I switch from place to place. So I'm not doing things mindfully. And I think most of you would agree. Maybe you all are all laughing, listening to this. This is the truth. We have stopped putting our full focus on one particular thing, and we have lost our interest in doing I can see someone raising hands. So sure that's happening. So this we have to, that's why you have so many webinars things and so many things that they do things mindfully. So bring back your focus. It's believed that we have a focus period of at least 20 minutes attention span. That is very essential now, not to be distracted. Then never ignore to report any unsafe incidences observed. This, what I mean by this is sometimes there are some crucial situations that might happen and you just think, okay, it's okay. For example, a narcotic being lost from the ward and you know who's taking it. Okay, maybe because of the position of that person you don't want to say, but it's a big crime. So you might have to be vigilant, at the same time responsible, because it might put all of you in that area in trouble. So report those things which you feel weird, which is not safe, and then at least you will be doing one good thing, preventing everybody from falling into some kind of an incident. Okay, have knowledge about these policies. I told them the main thing I want you to know is read them by yourself. After going there, you cannot say that sister told me this is how it is done, she told me this is how we have to do. You cannot, we have to avoid that blame game, because all of them have different views and variations when they start working, but they know how to work safely because of their years of experience. So if they say you something, this is how it needs to be done, please reconsider. A simple example, as students, what you do is the sisters might pick up the medications and then tell you just go and administer to that patient. Think twice. Do you know what is this medication? Did you go back to see that order of the doctor whether it is to be given now? You might go and administer, and then something happens. The system might say it was the student, and then tagged along with the student, your clinical instructor is in trouble. So many things can happen. So go back, confirm. That's for your peace. You've seen things with your eyes, so you know, okay, this is what has to happen. So this is something which most of us would have lacked during the student period, even after we become novice nurses. It's always good to go and read by ourselves and know, okay, this is what it is. I don't say by doing this, we might all be perfect. Still at times we don't do certain things, but we can make it a practice. It is essential, and then it develops like that. Avoid adhering to word by mouth orders. A doctor, he's lazy to document or punch his medication. He just says you, sister, just write that I've given this person this medicine. Just type it for me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just wait or request him to come and do it for you so that you are safe. Time management is a core. When you get multi-patient assignment, you are lost. It's like you see smoke coming out of your ears, fire burning, because you don't know how to tackle all these things. So the initial few days or few months, it's good always for you to have a planner. So you know, bed number 1, I have to do this. Bed number 2, this I have to assign. This time I need to do. Put alarms in your mobiles. It's okay if it's allowed. So just manage your time, because when we do not know how to juggle our time, we get stressed. Obviously, we cannot deliver the best. Next thing in the unit to manage time is to know or get oriented to the whole unit well. You should, like, even from sleep, if I wake up and say, go bring that adhesive, you should know from where it is kept in the unit. So it's like you should know the unit very well. So it saves you a lot of time. Tackle bullying. Miss, why are you frightening us, madam? Why do you say this? Actually, it is there or not there. Should I discuss or not discuss? I kept thinking about it, but I need to introduce you to this thing. It is there in some places, and those who don't experience it are lucky. So bullying can be of many types, as simple as bullying at your characteristic, okay, at somebody telling at your stature, they can bully you in various forms. You might not even realize it's bullying, but when it's frequently told to you, it pulls you down. It pulls your spirit down. They may even look at, there is some name tags. They may look at your college names and then they say you come from this place. What quality you will deserve? The quality is what you do, and that speaks for your college, for your institution. There are many incidences like this. I'm not going too deep into it, but if you experience it, and if your personality or by yourself you're not able to tackle it by yourself, please voice it out to your nearest confidant, to the area, to the staff, to the nurse who's assigned to you, the mentor, or at least the in charge, because you need to let somebody know what's happening to you instead of deteriorating and then running out of this profession. So you need to tackle lean. This came up in our group chats. All my friends who are now staff nurses holding some positions, they said there are children who come in to be novice nurses and then they are non-stop complaint box. And I was wondering what aspects they might be complaining. So we were discussing, and then it is, you might have learned in an institution which offers you everything. They have resource to teach you, train you, so you used them lavishly, or you got into a hospital which has everything and you are obviously trained to do it with all possible equipments available. But when you get yourself placed, or the job you got, or the institution might compromise on the same quality. I mean to say, they might have things, but they are very, very resourceful. So you may not be able to accomplish certain things in the most desired way. But then we learned nursing is an art. Nursing is resourcefulness. So how to manage that situation is what we have to learn. The current COVID-19 situation really brought this to light. So many things went on shortage, and we started learning how to utilize the available equipments. So this is how it. Stop complaining. I was doing like this, I learned like this, I've not done like this. Adapt and see what best you can do, because your goal is patient safety, quality care, and you don't want to pass any infection to the student. If there are equipments to manage all these things, just go for it. There's no point complaining about situations, but to manage situation is ideal. Be an active listener. Okay, this goes for all of us, even if you're a nurse or not a nurse. We need to listen to the other person, what they got to say. Now, when you are in the position, you have to listen to your senior members, your healthcare members, the orders, the patient's attenders, even the housekeeping who's around to help us. You have to listen to everybody, because all of them have their say and want to say you something. So after listening carefully, and let me use the word mindfully, then you react and decide or give your replies appropriately to what the situation is. So it demands to be an active listener, especially for us, because our patients who are in distress, they have a lot of kind of ventilations to do. They may be unhappy with their situations, being there, lying down in the hospital, so many things. You have to actively listen to everybody and deal accordingly. Practice makes man perfect. I think we started studying this in school. It's like a proverb we have studied and studied, and still we keep telling us, but do we still do it repeatedly, and are we perfect? I doubt that. If any of you are able to say I'm perfect in what I'm doing, then I really appreciate you. Okay, I'm still finding my path to perfection. So be proactive with your hands-on experience. Don't wait for your teacher. Oh, okay, today my teacher is coming to see this assignment. On that day, you want to just show. No, it won't work sometimes. Actually, many times we get caught like that. We have a procedure which we might not have got a chance before, and you want to prove yourself on that same day. But it's not possible. Keep every chance. Give an opportunity to yourself, and then you see what you can do. I would like to remember one of my friends who studied with me, Surya. We both, I remember when we were in masters, we had when we were in the advanced practice and postings, we said to each other, we will see who will achieve the maximum number of IV cannulation. We had a small competition between us, though she was very good at it, and she was very focused on it. She achieved it. So some small fun like this. So what happens is you tend to focus on what you want to do. You are looking at, and then you're saying, okay, let me do this. So every opportunity, wherever you want, you turn around, you see the staff going to put an IV, and you go run and say volunteer to help. So this is how you should develop your positive spirits towards learning. Try to be hands-on. Try to keep doing it every time. Repeatedly doing, we try to master it. That's why I like Bruce Lee. I like this quote a lot. We know about Bruce Lee, right? All of us would have heard at some point. He said he does not fear a man who is doing a 10,000 kick. 10,000 kick is just flying your legs and hands into the air. But he fears a man who practices his one kick 10,000 times. That means practice until you will not be wrong again. This is a very, very valuable tip. Ask questions to learn, understand better. but not simply. Ask realistic questions. Ask questions that will reflect your learning, that will bring in some critical thinking, that will provoke some this one. Not questions that will make the person who has to answer run away. Okay, so keep asking questions. Why is this done like this? Why aren't we doing like this? So some things what you have learned and some things which is in practice might contradict. So you want to know why this is done here. Is it a policy in this unit, or did we change because of some surfing up research articles or evidence base? So what is that thing? Know an answer. Now you have a rationale, so that when somebody else comes to you and asks, why are you doing this? You know why. Rather, when you're doing this and sometimes, why this is done like this? I don't know. I learned it from that system. That doesn't sound good. So ask and learn. Stay connected. This we don't have to advise to the current generation. We are always connected. Maybe now when you're even looking at my webinar, you're chatting to a friend. We are staying connected. But when I mean to say stay connected, both ways, personally and professionally, it works well. You all now, because of this social media, we have groups. So I stay connected with my friends right from bachelors. Why? Because all of them are widespread, all of them work in different settings. And when some situations arose, we started chatting with each other to know what's happening there. How is it done here? What are you how are you managing? So you get professional tips, and then you get personal help. So they face the same situation. Okay, you're going to share with them and they give you a solution. So you can maintain in both ways. And then having connections is essential when you want to do that escape. You want to just take a break and go off to another place and just enjoy your bit during, just to stay away from your profession. So always stay connected. And thankfully, we are connected because thanks to whoever found out this Wi-Fi, 4G, 5G and all. But I'm just wondering, if all this shut down one day, how are we going to manage? So the opportunities you get, try to utilize. 20th. This tip is slightly on a serious note. And I just want to ask all of you, do you want to be invisible? When I mean invisible, as a nurse, how much are you visible? Or as a nursing student, how much are you visible? We are, when you're students, you have lots of platforms, but we are visible only among our nursing community. And that has always been, somehow been a kind of, not a boon for our profession. Though there are people who come out, but we know less about them. If I ask you, how many of you know how many nurses in our country won an award? For what reasons they won an award? Have any of you gone and read about it? Some of them have got bravery awards. Even recently, an Indian origin nurse in Singapore won an award from their president. So there is a lot of news that comes about nurses and how much we know about what's happening on the highlight. This is very important to be visible, to know about those people and what's happening, so that you can own and be proud of this media. Now, because of this social media, you get some status or news, but still we need. Okay, so make yourself visible. This is why it's important to present yourself in conferences if you get a chance. If you're a good writer, send write-ups. See, we have different days coming up. We celebrate hand washing day, we celebrate nurses day, we celebrate international. If you can write, there are so many columns in our newspapers that allow general public to write. So be on the highlight, write something and publish, so that people read about nursing, people know what a nurse is doing. Be a nurse blogger. To be a scientific writer, definitely you need to start developing your skills. You're too small to tell that, but you will be on that way. But you can be a blogger to talk what you feel. Okay. As simple as, you can put a social media status alerting of what you are doing once in a while. I don't say do it all 365 days, but at pertaining days, you have something called as Insta Live. You want to show, now this COVID season, all of you had an opportunity. We could simply put a video of our hand washing skills, because there are many around who didn't know how to actually do it well, like how we nurses do. So you utilize small opportunities and feel happy and feel proud in what you're doing. So that keeps you visible. So everybody who sees you tries to see who you are. And okay, that's how we uplift our image. And the list can go endless. We have always seen nurses being on the backstage. They are backstage artists, you know. They are like the chefs behind the hotels. They do all the massive cooking, but the one who brings and serves gets the applause. So it's like that. We've always tried to be backstage, but it's time to come front and prove ourselves, because we call ourselves to be professionals now. The last one, this is the most important. In all this process, we forget to love ourselves. So love yourself. Having a self-care, it's not a selfish feeling. Most often that's the one we compromise. Always we put that aside to be the last on the list. You fail to dress up well, you fail to do some things which is very important for you. You might have been doing certain things on a routine, but because of your nurse shift you say, oh no, I don't have time. No, this is the most important. Those who love oneself will love their profession, will love what they are doing, will have a kind of, a good feeling towards what they are doing. So take care of yourself, pamper yourself, go for a movie you like, watch with your friends, go outing, shop, gift yourself. That idea I like a lot. I do this. When I feel it's too much and I feel that I have not neglected myself at times, I just quickly go and gift myself. I say, okay, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy this for myself. Now, if husbands are always, you need to provoke them to sometimes give gifts to you. So what I do is I go with him, buy, and I take his card and swipe because I feel happy. It's just a tip. I'm just telling you, you have multiple ways of loving yourself. So keep yourself pampered because nobody else will pamper you in this aspect. This is the most important and the golden advice I want to give you. Stand out like a flamingo. I love this bird, and it can stand on its one foot because why fit in and just flow when you were born to stand out tall, and you have had the enough backup and enough training, enough exposures from your college. Why don't we just stand out and be different in our own ways? Being different doesn't mean that we need to be on top of everybody, telling that each of us have our own individual space. We can be different in our own ways, in our own tiny small ways, so that we make a mark wherever we go. We try at least to make a mark wherever we go. So just try to stand out and stand different wherever possible. This is my take home message. I don't know if I was too fast. I don't know if I rendered everything on time, but I was just passionate about talking and telling all these points to you. So spread yourselves, have a clear vision. You will definitely soar to new heights, but it needs some groundwork right from now. This period of studying is the only period where you are free of responsibilities, but only about studying. So during this period, you can carve your future in a beautiful way. Sometimes maybe we all, why we share this now to you at this moment is some aspects of this we forgot to do when we were there, or we didn't have enough people who shared with us to do it exactly in this same way. So grab all the opportunities. You know about the eagle, it flies so high, it flies higher than any bird, but when it wants to hit its prey, from there, from so far, it's right down there to catch its prey. That's the opportunity. Nobody brings it to you. You create opportunities, or when it just passes by, hook it and take it and try to see if you can do a best of it, and keep having good memories. So this is my take home message for all of you as students. And I think I have given most of the experiences what we have gone through, and what we feel you might need to have in hand to start off your career, and that's it. So it's open to all of you. If you want to ask something about it, you want to ask something which you have faced, and how, if I have faced the same and how we dealt it, I'm ready to answer. We-
Friends, there are a lot of comments they have put it. They have not questioned anything as such. The one is the tips and tricks which you have gave for us was really amazing. Surely this will help us to focus on our career and achieve many milestones in our future. Thank you, ma'am. This was a very beautiful and stress buster, ma'am. We need this type of lectures regularly. I mean to say
Okay.
that this is not the lecture, dears, just sharing of their experiences with a few PowerPoints, dear students. And thank you, ma'am. It was really helpful. So like this, there are a lot of comments from our students. And
I would love
students,
to
if
have a
any,
screenshot of those, ma'am,
yeah, sure, we will send it to you.
because it
Princess.
just boosts your motivation when you read those
That's
comments.
true. That's true. As you say, always, this helps us. And maybe your colleagues or your friends, Saraswati and Shiba and Shashireka also have sent a very neat presentation, Finzi. Feeling so proud of you, dear.
Yeah,
Good
actually, we are
session.
representing all of them here.
In your
They
batch,
are
yeah, I understand. We are really happy like to see our alumni being like this. And you are the real role model for our students now with this generation.
Thank you.
That's what we have started from last month onwards. I'm
It's
sure
a very
we
good
get
initiative, ma'am. Actually, it's a very good initiative. That's what I told students. There is, unless this kind of opportunities, it's very rare. And this planning of bringing up alumni to talk to the students is really good.
yeah,
It
more
will
than
have an
teachers, they
influence.
love to hear from their seniors and this one because they
Yes.
are the role models. We they feel
Actually,
that.
they will love the teachers, but not when they are students.
No,
Because
that's
we
true.
love
That's
our
true.
teachers now. When we
Only
are
after they
students,
leave from the college, they feel that.
yes, because teachers are tough and rough when we are studying. But now I understand why they are tough and rough, because we are all bound by some rules. And once we are out, now we are so happy, more like colleagues. So all those people whom we have feared, I think we talk to them like friends. So they will
Yeah,
love all of you.
that's really nice. Even I too enjoyed the session, Frenzy. Thank you so much for being with us,
Thank
spending
you,
your
Dr.
time with
Jesus.
us too.
It gives
I
me
know it's
immense
a weekend
pleasure.
for you.
It's a weekend, yes. But weekends are like actually stress-free days, so that we don't have any other commitments and I can just sit at home and do it.
Yeah, I understand.
I was so happy to doing this, and I wanted to have a motivational session to nurses. I always wanted to have one like that, so that
Okay.
it helps students, and I'm
And
happy I was
thank you,
able
my
to.
dear students, for your patience listening, because listening is
Yes.
a good skill. So you all
Yes.
have listened hopefully, and I'm sure you will be benefited, and where we could see the changes in you with your behavior and attitude. Thank you all so much. Thank you, friends. Rajeshwari,
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
yeah, it's to you.
Yes, ma'am. Princy, can you stop sharing your screen?
Yes, sure.
Yes. Thank you, Princy. So, good afternoon, one and all joined here. First of all, I thank God Almighty for the successful completion of this test lecture. I thank our principal, Dr. Jayasudha, for giving me opportunity for organizing this test lecture. I thank my dear friend Princy, my classmate. When ma'am told about this alumni guest lecture, the first person who came into my mind is Princy, because she's a very good presenter. When we are studying our PG, usually we all admire about her presentation. Thank you, Princy, for accepting our invitation. Even you were busy with your family and your academic activities. Thank you, Princy. I thank Bhaskaran sir for his support, technical support for conducting this lecture. I thank all our faculty and non-teaching staffs for their support. Finally, I thank all our students for their patient listening. I hope all our students enrich and enjoy this session. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you, Raji. I would like to address you like that only. I don't know if I have to call you a madam now, but we have left a part of us with you, Dr. Jayasudha. That's Raji. She's one from our own batch who's there with you forever, and she's doing her job excellently well.
Now, in that way, I am really lucky and blessed to have such a loving team with me. That's the reason I am able to run the show. Otherwise, it's difficult.
Yes. Yes, definitely. It's all your inputs, and probably you're really supporting them well. So they're all coming forward to establish your goals and aims in a very, very nice way.
It is both the ways.
Yes, it's both ways. Yes. Thank you so much for this platform.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
to all the
Have a
students.
happy weekend.
Thank
Yeah.
you. To all
Keep
the
in touch
students.
with us.
Yes. Someday when you see me walking through Coimbatore streets, say hi, hello, and say that you saw this one. Share your professional success to all your teachers. All the best for all of you.
Thank you, Fancy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Bye.
dear. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Raj. Thank you.